Welcome to the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garrity. With school starting back up here soon, I thought that I would have somebody who's very well versed in the college TU world come on. Let you guys know your opportunities that you got when you want to get into like a fly fishing club in college or anything like that. But before we get started, riversmith.com, your river quivers, your duffel bags, your convoy series, all that at riversmith.com. Use code Wrangler10 at checkout for some awesome products. You know the deal. Again, riversmith.com, Wrangler10. And I'll let Joe introduce himself.
Yeah, my name is Joe Tardif. I carry a bunch of different roles, but I think today it's most important to highlight my role as the host of the Emerging Podcast, which I intern for the Trout Unlimited Costa 5 Rivers program, which is the national allegiance of college fly fishing clubs across the country. So I'm here talking about college fly fishing clubs, what that entails, and how I kind of spun that into a little podcast.
Yeah, man. And I love the podcast, dude. I like how you put I'm a big deadhead. I just got these stickers made. You'll be getting two of them after the show.
Nice.
It's a Steely with my logo in it. But I like how you put that whole spin into things like the jam band scene, because it is like a big thing that is a
Yeah,
huge
it's a huge
part of
thing.
fly fishing. And
So I was just trying to think of ways to be different when I landed the gig of the podcast. And one of my buddies, Joe Fitzgerald, told me, you got to do like investigative journalism. Like, why do all fly fishermen like the Grateful Dead?
yeah,
And I don't know. So we're on a mission. We haven't fully found out yet why yet, but we're on a
yeah.
mission to find out why fly fishermen like the Grateful Dead.
Hey, I think you'll find out here soon,
I
for
hope
sure.
so.
Dude, yeah, I've loved watching those, dude, especially on Instagram and stuff like that. I was like, dude, that's awesome.
Thank
But
you.
so Emerging launched in fall 2020 as part of TU's Costa 5 Rivers initiative. Like, what was the inspirator behind creating a podcast for college fly fishing clubs?
Yeah. So to run back to 2020, I was a junior in high school. So not involved in TU Costa. Didn't know what it was. Didn't know where I was going to college. And all while that was what I was doing, there was a guy out there, Joseph Burney, most known for his role in Fly Shop Tour with Fly Lords,
Yeah,
was interning in my shoes for TU Costa. And Joseph was tasked to come up with some sort of communications project to reach to 5 Rivers members specifically. And I think the intern before him had like a blog, a 5 Rivers blog. And he said that when he was in college, he didn't read much. He was more of a podcast guy. And so he turned that blog, kind of took it away, spun it into a podcast, named it Emerging, started with his first episode was about the origins of Trout Unlimited with the CEO, Chris Wood, and kind of just birthed this beautiful little podcast that has gone through so many different hands and changes over the last couple of years. And I was lucky enough to inherit it this year. My boss, Cliff Watson, inherited it after Joseph, and it's since starting just carried on, and I don't see it ever stopping.
dude, that's awesome. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that Joe Burney was part of it, dude. He
Yeah.
was the one in the latest Fly Shop Tour video where they
Yes.
went to Boston and
Yep.
fly fish with Joe.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So he's our founding father, and the shout out to Joseph. He's still hooking me up with connections, checking in. He was on my first season, season 4, and just still giving back to Emerging, which is awesome.
That's cool though, man. Like that, dude. That Fly Shop series is so freaking big now,
Mm-hmm.
dude.
It
Like
really is.
my girlfriend could give two shits about fly fishing, and she'll be like, "I kind of like this. They're going to all these different places, and it's like I'm originally from Boston, so it's
Mm-hmm.
like when they went up there and they were going to like Bears Den and all that stuff. I was like, this is going to be sick.
Yeah, it's something I don't know if you've learned about me through whatever online research you did, but I also grew up in Boston.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so huge New England sports fan as well.
Hell yeah, dude. Sad year for the Sox, though, man. Getting rid of Devers.
You know what? I'm not too heartbroken about it yet.
Part of me, dude, he's playing like shit. So I'm
He
like,
is.
you know what? My one big thing, if they trade Jarren Duran, that's where I'll draw the line. There are
I
big
agree
rumors.
there. What made me not sad about the Devers trade was, and I just saw this. I think it was on Nesson, but Craig Breslow flew out to Seattle because that was right when that's where the Sox were playing when the trade happened to
Yeah,
offer the team an explanation. And supposedly the team was like, "No, we're good. We don't need
yeah.
an explanation of why you traded him." So the team doesn't seem too upset. I'm happy about it.
Dude, me too. Because it's like, I think I heard it like, see, I have the MLB package. I watch every single game. Like, revolve my schedule around when the Red Sox are playing. Like, my
Nice.
girlfriend hates it, but like, I got to watch every single game. I've been like that since I was like 6 years old, and I just haven't stopped it. And I got on, watched it that night, and like, Jarren Duran was like, we don't need an explanation. We just want to fucking win.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, let's
they
go.
bleeped it out. I was like, let's go. Fire me up.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
Fire
with you.
me up.
I'm with you there.
But I guess we'll see how the Patriots do, though.
Yeah, I'm not too worried yet. Give it a
Me
couple
neither.
years, see what happens. Not, I'm not expecting anything. So I think that's
I'm
a
not
good
either. I
mindset
think that's
going
all
into the
we can
season.
do.
Yeah,
I think that's all we can do as Boston sports fans. Like, you know what? I'm going into the season
yeah,
like is expecting the complete worst.
definitely.
But hey, the Sox are starting to kick it up now. Don't let them
Sox
boys
look
get
good.
hot.
Yeah, Sox look good. Bees will
Yep.
be TBD. And then Celtics, you'll see.
Yeah, we'll see too,
We'll see.
dude. I mean, they just offloaded. It looks like they're offloading Horford, which I mean, I think that needs to happen. The
Yep.
dude's like ancient.
I I learned about the Cornet trade this morning, and I didn't like that.
I didn't either,
I
dude.
wasn't happy. And the what I saw first was Cornette in a Spurs jersey being like, "What's up, Spurs fans? Like, glad to be here." And it was like 7 o'clock this morning. I was like, "Oh no!" That's what I
Yeah,
woke up
they
to. So that was a
they
shame.
ruined.
Yeah, pretty much.
They ruined. But I could talk, dude. I could talk Boston sports legit all day, all
Absolutely. Me
day.
too. Me too.
But with over 80 college clubs in the Costa Five Rivers network, what impacts have you seen from the podcast and like driving engagement, conservation work, and stuff like that, man?
Yeah, so it's a good question. We have a huge network with TU Costa, and that's really just because people come to college and then they leave or graduate. So we've got 80 college clubs, I think 5,000 active members, and then 17,000 alumni. So huge reach of in person college club networking events, but also with emerging, which is what you asked me about. I think the biggest difference and impacts we've made are just small stories that I've heard from people on campuses about something that they heard on the podcast.
Yeah.
One example being my first episode that I did was with Karen Miller, who owns the only female owned rod company in the world. It's a Tenkara rod company, Zen Tenkara. And
Okay.
after her episode, a lot of the girls in the CSU club really liked it. She came in to the CSU club because she lives in Fort Collins and spoke kind of about women in the outdoor industry, women in outdoor leadership, women in fly fishing. And I kind of saw that stem a little bit from the connections made on the podcast.
Yeah.
Another one, which is pretty cool, is Ranga Pereira, who I had on the podcast, was telling stories about how he used to host kind of quote family dinners for his friends in college. And a couple weeks later, CSU club member hosts a family dinner. So
Oh,
I've
that's awesome.
seen a lot of it I can talk about with the CSU club because those are the people I'm interacting with day to day. But I think
Yeah.
kind of like the small on campus stories that I've heard like that are really cool.
Yeah, dude. So like, it's crazy how big it is, man. I mean, I know kids at West Virginia.
Hmm.
Um, VT, UGA. Like my little sister went to UGA,
The
and
club, the clubs in the Southeast are huge.
oh yeah,
I'm
they're massive.
I'm repping Clemson fly fishing today.
Heck yeah, that's
Um,
actually one of my boys who I had on 2 weeks ago was on the Clemson was in
oh,
the Clemson
nice.
fly fishing. He was I think the president at one point.
Love that.
Yeah, it's crazy how big it's got. Like my college didn't have one, very much so. Wish it did, and
Definitely.
I didn't go to school like anywhere near Trout Stream. Sadly, I went to East Carolina.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just like for me, I came out west from Boston and didn't really trout fish. I grew up fishing for striped bass,
Oh yeah,
smallmouth, largemouth, and I got into the trout stuff in high school. But then I came out west because I wanted to fish and hunt public land, get out into the mountains and do all
yeah,
this. And then I get out west and I realize that the biggest network of or the biggest pocket of fly fishing clubs of kids my age that like to do the same thing is in the southeast, and they represent big time.
oh
So
yeah.
it was interesting to kind of move west because that's where I thought trout were, and then learn about Clemson, UGA, uh, App State, like all these schools, huge
Yeah,
schools that have huge clubs with thousands of members.
dude, and it's crazy to see like App State. It's like 95% of the kids that are working over at Due South Outfitters end up working there in college, and
Hmm.
then they stay and they're like, I'm never leaving Boone, North Carolina. I'm gonna be a fly fishing
Definitely.
god. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like Paco, you ever seen Paco on the Due South page? I think he was in the App Club. I'm pretty sure
I
he might
couldn't,
still be.
wouldn't recognize it. I'm not sure,
He
but maybe I've seen it.
I'm pretty sure he did the same thing. He just guides full time for Due
Cool.
South now. But it's like all of them. It's nuts, dude. Like UGA, a lot of people mistake. Their UGA is so close to a ton of good fly fishing.
I bet. Yeah.
Ton.
Yes, that's what I've heard.
But
And
it's
too,
nuts.
the school down there that I learned a lot about through the podcast and through meeting somebody is Lee's McRae.
Yeah,
Lee's McRae, first off, I think their fly fishing club is 50% of their school.
yeah,
And they have a trout stream going through campus that they fish and camp on like weekly or daily.
yeah.
It's
The Elk River
so
is
sick.
right there.
So
Yeah,
sick. I
in
would love
Western
to go down.
Carolina,
Yeah.
same thing. Dude, Western, dude. I mean, Western's just like in the heart of it all. Western Carolina has, I'm pretty sure, no, it's not the Tuckasegee. There is a trout stream that runs through WCU's campus, and it's like one of the only campuses in the Southeast you can catch wild trout on their campus.
So cool.
I was like, that is
I
unbelievable.
mean,
It's so cool.
I can't catch it. We got a river couple miles from campus that there's trout in it for sure. People have the in town section of the Pooter dialed in. I personally don't. But for us at CSU, it's a good 10-minute drive, 10-minute on the highway, going pretty fast until we're into some really nice trout stream.
Heck yeah, dude, that's badass though.
It's great.
Oh, I bet, dude. Had you do any hunting out there either, or
A
two?
little bit, yeah. I initially kind of wanted to hunt out here more than fish coming out of high school, but then I should say in Massachusetts, bow hunting was very easy for me
Yeah,
thanks to my mentor who had me set up with stands and private land and permits and access and everything. I move out west and I always said, like, what's a draw? Like, why do I got to put in for a tag? In
yeah,
Massachusetts, I got a buck tag just with my license. So
yeah,
I haven't got into the big game out here as much as I'd like. I've hunted over the counter elk tags opening day a couple times, which is just brutal. But I've dialed in the small game a little bit this past year with my roommates with 22s, but mostly fly fishing the last couple
yeah.
years because
Dude,
it's
it's a
hard to
grind.
avoid.
It's a grind out west, man. Like one of my buddies used to go to um, Grand Junction
Mm,
every year to elk hunt, and he's like, dude, the last 4 years I haven't been able to draw a tag.
it's tough.
He's like, it's tough. It's the toughest thing in the world. He's like, half the time, he's like, we got to go down there and pay an outfitter for one of their tags.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that's the way we have to do it usually.
Yeah.
But that is a huge thing, dude. Like, it's different. It's like Montana too. Even like you gotta pull a tag and save up all these points.
The
And
preference
it's like,
points.
oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. Last summer, I was working for Colorado Parks and Wildlife doing surveys. And one day I got back from the field and there were hundreds of people in the Parks and Wildlife office parking lot. And it was leftover license day or leftover tag day. And it was mad how many people were there. Like there were people all over the place, tents set up, lines, and I was trying to wiggle through it like with my camping gear because I just got back from Hitch, and it was a lot. And I said,
Oh, I bet.
I'm going fishing. It's like it's basically free. I can go wherever I want to catch some fish.
Go
Yeah,
home.
talk about meat. I'll keep some fish. I'll cook them up. Like
Oh yeah.
I don't need to apply for these tags that I'm never going to get. Apply for preference points that I might never use. So I haven't done much of the hunting.
Yeah, dude. I wouldn't either. I only deer hunt. That's it. I
Yep.
don't even attempt to duck hunt anymore. Too many people. But
Yeah.
so with nearly 60 episodes and 15,000 downloads, how does your team measure success beyond numbers and like engagement, partnerships, and real world? I already kind of asked the real world impacts, but like partnerships and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think a big part of that, how we gauge success, is those impacts that I kind of spoke on there. But we at TU Costa are very lucky to work with a large handful of brands, and kind of incorporating those brands, or people, I should say, into the podcast is a very successful way for us to kind of give back to the people that have helped us out a lot. One example of that would be Joe Gugino, who is on the Headwaters board at Trout Unlimited. He has given back to the program infinitely. He's given back to me as a person infinitely. The podcast, he's hooked us up with some sweet guests, really cool guests coming on soon because of Joe. And, one way that I think is successful for us to give back a little bit was I had him on the podcast a couple weeks ago just to get the word out about his new brand, his charter that he runs in Boston Harbor, and
Yeah,
Agave
Fly Fish
Co.
Boston, baby.
Fish Boston, baby. And then his new kind of PR company, Agave Co., that he runs, to try and push the word out about that, let people know what kind of stuff they're doing over there.
Yeah, dude. He has gotten so big over the past few years, dude. It's insane to watch.
Joe's the man. I owe a
Yeah,
lot
dude.
to Joe, especially I met him last August, and open doors, open boat, open phone number, anything I need. Joe, I think Joe's got me,
Yeah.
which is unbelievable to have as someone like, I just stumbled into this podcast, and the day I met Joe a couple days before I got the podcasting gig. And then when he found out that I had the gig, he was just so excited that somebody had taken over the podcast. And whatever you need, however you can get it, call me. Here's my name, number, anything. And he's been a blessing.
Yeah, dude. That's how. See, there's like two kinds of people in Boston, and it's like you gotta grind it out of the mud, or it's like I'm gonna put my arm around you and be like, here, I'll help you out. And it's like it's crazy to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dad's one of those guys who's really like his dad worked in the hood factory. Um, my dad's hard nosed. You just call him a football guy
Love it.
because that's what he is. But he's very much so one of those guys. He's like you're gonna get it on your own, pal. Like, I don't give a fuck how. He's like you're gonna get it on your own.
If it works,
But
it works.
it does, dude. But yeah, dude, Joe, it's cool seeing his like Instagram stories where he's like, "Where am I picking up today?" Like, there's
Yeah.
one the other day.
Yeah. So
He's
I was with him when we did a drop off right there in downtown. And then, he picked me up right next to the airport on the boat. So I'm loving it too.
Yeah. He's like, where am I picking up today? The one where it was encore.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that has to be a bachelor party. Has to be.
I sure hope so. Any bachelor party would be lucky to get on a boat with Joe Gugino.
Oh yeah. It was so cool how they wrapped up the Fly Lord series with them too,
Mm-hmm.
where it was like they had Joey walking in with the turtle box blasting dirty water.
Yep.
I was
Yep.
like, this is great. I
I
was
was
like, this.
beyond happy to see the cover photo on the Fly Lords post being them in a Sox jersey, like
Yes.
on the water. I was like, yes,
I
yes,
was like, this
yes.
is
So sick.
exactly what they need.
This is what everybody needs. I'm so glad that
Exactly.
somebody has caught on to this. So
Yeah.
I love that Fly Lords got to highlight it. Colby Acuff went fishing with Joe Gugino the
Yeah.
other day.
I saw that.
They're going to be doing a Fin and Feathers episode about Boston Harbor and the fly fishing with Joe. So super stoked to see that. Super stoked to talk to Colby about that. He's coming on the podcast on
Oh,
Friday,
dude.
which
Hell yeah.
is awesome. So all Boston praise, all Striper praise. Hats off
Hell
to
yeah.
Joe Gugino for just selling it.
The linesiders, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, speaking of Colby, I hope he didn't. Dude, I got absolutely blistered one night, and I was like, trying to get Colby Acuff on tonight.
Yeah.
Probably not the greatest decision.
Were you
I
at a
was
show?
Nah, dude. I
No.
was I was just sitting on my couch. I had like my TV blasting music, and I think it was Boy and a Bird Dog came on, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, huh. I was like, wonder how I could get in contact with him. I was like, no, not gonna DM him. He won't see it. Emailed his manager, dude. I didn't even go back and look at it because I know it was just the most drunken fucking mess of an email that I deleted it. I was like, not even looking at it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna look at that,
Uh,
dude.
maybe check in. I'm yet to speak to him in preparation. I've just been emailing and stuff, but he did the SoFly podcast, and then he just did a little
Yeah,
bit with Fly Life Media. Seems like just the nicest dude ever. So
dude, it's crazy. My little sister sent me. She was at the Flatland Cavalry show at I want to say the Georgia Theater. My little sister went to UGA, and she was like, "You got to listen to this dude." Sends me Dying Breed. I
mm.
listened to it once. I was like, "I'm going into a deep dive on this dude's music." And this was, I think, like 2 or 3 years ago, and I just couldn't stop listening. I was like, "This is my new favorite country artist."
No way.
And then
That's
that,
awesome.
dude, yeah, I saw him on Blue Line TV. I think was it Blue Line? No, it was Fly Lords that had him on.
The music and fly fishing.
Yeah, and I was like, "This is awesome." I was like, he's awesome, dude.
He is.
I hope I can get him on.
The first time I ever heard of him was with the Fly Lords, and loved that series. So I'm fairly new Colby Acuff listener. How long did that come out? A couple months ago, I want to say, probably in the spring or something. But super stoked to get him know
Yeah,
more.
dude,
I'm bummed
that's gonna be
we're
sick.
doing it online though. I was trying my hardest to make it up to one of his shows to record in person with him, but didn't make that happen. Closest he was going to be to me was Jackson, which is
Yeah,
6.5, 7 hours away, and it was in
I
a busy
want
time
to.
for me. So we're rocking the online interview, which is always still cool.
I want to say he played at MGM Fenway like last year or something like that. You know
See?
that new, not the House of Blues, but like Fenway has a new concert venue.
Mm,
He played there like last year, I think.
that's cool. I
But
saw he was up in New Hampshire for the 4th, which I was a little surprised about. It was a venue I hadn't heard of. It looked nice though. It was right on the water. I think it was by
huh,
Portsmouth. But I figured
interesting.
he would have been somewhere out west for the 4th. But I think it was because he was fishing with Joe. Or he was either fishing with Joe because he had the show in Portsmouth or something. He wanted to catch some stripers, I guess. So his
Oh,
new song just came out, which is pretty dank. Came out on the 4th. I guess that's his tradition, is to release music on the 4th of July, which is
That's pretty
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, pretty sick.
Damn, dude, I didn't even see that. I was so tore up on the 4th of July, dude. It
Average
probably still
American is what it's called.
yeah, dude, it's not good. But dude, it's insane. He's so cool. But
He is, really is.
do you guys do anything regionally to like get all the clubs in the regions together? Like, if so, what do those outings or retreats look like?
Yeah, so I would say the highlight of the year for any specific college club would be the rendezvous, is what we call them. I
Okay.
think there's a southeast, northeast, and a Rockies or like a Western rendezvous that happened this past year. I think there's a Midwest, not a Northeast. Sorry. So rendezvous all across the country, regions where multiple clubs get together and just have a blast. I can speak on the experiences of the Western Rockies rendezvous, which was Colorado State, University of Wyoming, University of Utah, and we all met up. Where was it? Steamboat? So we all met up in Steamboat Springs, which was a couple hours for us out of Fort Collins, a couple hours for the kids outside of Laramie, and then Utah State kids. And Utah State is a fairly new club, from what I understood. Rocked out. I want to say it was more than a 4-hour drive. I don't know how long the drive was, but they got there in the middle of the night in a van, just like ready to go. And the CSU club, very familiar with the Wyoming club. We overlap a lot. They're our best friends up there. And then the Utah State. So everyone kind of knew each other. We had probably 50 to 60 kids hanging out by a couple fires, just chatting about fishing, life, school, having a blast, watching the beautiful sunset over Steamboat Springs, beautiful night. And then Utah State comes out of nowhere, middle of the night, like, what's up, everybody? Like, yeah, it's the Utah State Club. We just got in from Salt Lake or wherever the heck the school is. So these rendezvous are just a bunch of college clubs meeting together to do fishing. They also revolve around a conservation event. Our rendezvous revolved around a rebuilt or re-engineered creek to help cutthroats.
Oh,
The
cool.
Southeast Rendezvous was centered around Hurricane Helene relief, where they planted hundreds, if not thousands, of trees and picked up hundreds, if not thousands, of pounds of trash.
Yeah.
So it's like these rendezvous are just the perfect way to meet kids from other schools, get involved with a local TU conservation, anything, and then obviously fish. Like we
Yeah.
fished a lot. I fished every day, all day when we were at the rendezvous with people that I'd never fished with before too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And like one thing that I hear a lot when I'm trying to recruit people to come to the club or come on our trips is I just don't like to fish with that many people. And neither do I. Like really, I don't like to fish with a lot of other people sometimes. Sometimes it stinks. But
Yeah.
we probably had 50 to 75 kids in this rendezvous on a couple little small creeks running around. And it was so fun. Like, forget the fishing for a couple of days. And I looked around, and at our camp, we had four different campfires going on, tents all over the place, full group site, and 3 colleges represented, and it was so fun. Lots of prizes given away, lots of good times, lots of singing by the campfire. Somebody's got a bad picture of me playing Freebird on the air guitar that night from the campfire. But they're just an absolute blast. It's the
Hell
it's the
yeah.
highlight of the year for everybody because we only get one of them. Our TU Five Rivers program coordinator Clifford Watson comes in for the show. He organizes everything. So shout out to Cliff on that. And he does an amazing job of picking a central location, making sure that as many schools can get there as possible, bringing a bunch of good prizes, and then also just kind of informing all of the members about Five Rivers, kind of what the Five Rivers are, what we're about, and kind of like planting the seed for everybody to kind of
Yeah,
stay involved, stay going with the college clubs.
that's cool. I think the Southeastern one did they have 828 Flies host that
Yes.
one? Yeah,
I'm not
those are
sure if
good dudes over
they
there.
hosted or something, but I think they all watched one of the film tours at 828 Flies and then went back to their camp.
Yeah, dude, 828. Those are a bunch of good dudes over there at 828.
That's what
If
I've
you're ever
heard.
this way, dude, if
Yeah,
you're ever this way, stop in with them, dude. They're super super nice guys.
there's not too many fly shops that I've continuously seen and heard about that aren't in my general area, but 828 is one that I've consistently seen on like either a fly shop tour or with the rendezvous or helping out their
Yeah,
clubs over there. So they
all
seem
good
like
dudes.
the best.
Dude, Headwaters over in Rossman's really good too.
Mm.
But tell me your craziest or coolest fishing. Oh wait, I forgot the good. They're super super good one.
What you got?
Um, you guys did a video about the Grateful Dead fly fishing
Oh yeah.
crossover. I always find this conversation super cool because it's
Yep.
like I listen to them all the time, as we all do. But what's your Mount Rushmore of Dead songs?
All right. That's a hard question for me. I've been listening to the Grateful Dead thanks to my father since before I can remember.
Same here.
And like it's not something that I didn't like because I listened to too much of it young. It's something I like more because that's all I ever listened to when I was
Yeah,
young.
same here.
So I know for sure what my all-time favorite song is. I'll save that for last. We'll go Rushmore's four people or
I
four.
think
I
is it 4 or 5?
think it's four.
Yeah,
So
it's
we'll go
4.
four. Any Dire Wolf has got to be up there for me. I really like the
Yeah,
early ones, maybe like a 69 Dire Wolf. One of my favorite fishing songs, I'd say, is Jackaroo. I really
yep.
like what recording is my Jackaroo that I like. It's 97 Jackaroo. It's All Over Now, Baby Blue, 1990. New York is up there for me. And then my all-time favorite Grateful Dead song, which will never get old, is Eyes of the World, Nassau Coliseum, March 29th, 1990, with Branford Marsalis on the saxophone, just ripping,
Ripping it. Oh my
ripping.
gosh,
So that's
dude.
my favorite song of all time. I know one person who was at that show, and as jealous as it gets,
Yeah,
that's been my favorite song since I was probably 5 years old. So that's got to be up on there.
yeah.
And I like them all. I like them all.
Dude, I do too. It'd be hard for me to pick like a Mount Rushmore. Like I do like Althea, West LA Fadeaway.
Mm,
Like, dude, that whole Shakedown Street album, not many people give it enough credit.
I agree.
Um, dude, I like them all.
And like one thing too that I like is I like Studio Dead. A lot
Yeah,
of people are like Studio Dead, yada yada. I'm like, no, the Jackaroo Studio Dead, so good.
fantastic. Yeah,
Althea Studio Dead, fantastic. Like all of I like it all. I like the
yeah,
early stuff, the late stuff. I might be different because thinking about my Mount Rushmore Grateful Dead songs, the first 10 that really pop into mind are from 90, 91, and 92. Like
yeah,
I gotta switch it up. I like the Grateful Dead when they were the Western kind of funky, not
yeah,
jam
dude.
band. Like I liked it when Pigpen was headlining and they were playing the Fillmore West. Like I
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. It's all cool.
dude. Like, it's crazy how their sound changes over time too. Like, which
Hmm.
is nuts. And you know who has a similar thing like that is Widespread Panic.
Yeah.
Their sound changes drastically too. Um, damn, dude. Yeah, it'd be so hard for me to pick my my Mount Rushmore.
You have a favorite show?
Oh man, um, Cornell,
Yeah.
obviously, dude.
Basic.
Cornell,
So basic.
basic as hell, dude. I feel so. Literally, I'll listen to that one all the time.
It's a
The Foxborough one was pretty good.
mm-hmm.
Um, there's a bunch, dude. Like
Yeah.
I'll just stick my Spotify on Grateful Dead and just listen, like all day at work when I'm driving around
Oh, yeah, you got
like the
lots of time to
mower.
listen.
Dude, yeah, I got so much time. I just like half the time I'll hear one and I'm like, what show is this? And I'll just completely forget to check.
Yep. Yeah, do you have Sirius XM? You ever listen to Sirius?
So I used to,
Yeah.
because the only reason I got it, I used to have an F-150. I actually just bought my dad's Tahoe off him, or my dad
Nice.
kind of gave me his Tahoe, and my truck had Sirius XM just because of the Grateful Dead, the Grateful Dead channel, because it's like I get out of range where I couldn't use Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm just gonna click on Grateful Dead
Oh my God.
on
The
the
Grateful
like,
Dead channel on Spotify might be the greatest thing in the world.
oh yeah,
If you
it's
asked me, would you rather fly fish for the rest of your life or Grateful Dead channel the rest of your life? You have to choose one. I might set the rods down. Like my
yeah, dude.
my car, we often joke, is just like it's like super weird. My Grateful Dead station runs on gasoline. Like
Yeah,
without noticing that my car drives, it's always on the Grateful Dead channel. And
yeah.
like, man, my grandmother, thank you so much for giving me this car. I turn it on and the Grateful Dead starts playing. I'm like, I don't need to drive it anywhere. Turn it
Like,
on and the Grateful Dead starts playing. It's so cool. I don't know why.
just just sit in the driveway listening to the Dead channel.
You'd be shocked.
Dude, I probably would do that again if I still had my truck. But dude, it's like crazy. So there's a picture of me somewhere. I know my mom has it, but my uncle Brian got me. Do you look them up on eBay? They're worth an arm and a leg now. But it's the dancing bear, like giant beanie babies.
Mm,
There's a picture of me with all of them in my
no way.
crib, just like laying down with, and it's all the dancing bear,
That's so
uh,
sick.
giant beanie babies.
I've got it's in the wash now that I say this, but I've got I think it's a one of very few t-shirt which says the Baitful Dead.
Oh,
And it's a skull, but the top of the skull is opened up and bait, like fishing bait and hooks are coming out of the top of the skull.
that's
It's
sick.
so sick.
Dude, you ever seen the Instagram page Built to Cast?
No.
Dude, I'll send it to you. I don't know, he hasn't released stuff in a while. I don't know if there was like some kind of like cease and desist using like the
Mm,
Steely logo or something like that too much. He used to make the sickest like stickers, t-shirts, all sorts of stuff, dude. Like there's one and it's like a guy sitting at his fly tying desk and he's got like his dog next to him and it's like a life is good. It's like a
mm,
life is good t-shirt, but it says like life is grand or
that's
something like
sick.
that, or life is very good. And he's like, time flies. I've been trying to hunt that t-shirt down from Built to Cast for
That's
freaking
good. Did you have to
months.
go through any licensing for your stickers there? Or you just make them?
I just made them.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to make a little logo or something, but I was too scared. But I tell you
Yeah, I
what,
just
I was also trying to get the licensing for emerging. I wanted to use Help on the Way as the intro for emerging. You know, like
oh dude, that's yeah,
welcome to emerging. And that was my goal.
yeah. It's a
I
pain getting that stuff.
It took me months and months and months, dozens of emails, and then at the end of it, they were finally like I reached out and I was like, "What's the price? I don't care about the forms. What's it going to cost? I don't want to do hours of forms and then you tell me it's too expensive." I did hours of forms and then they said, "Okay, it'll be $250 per use plus a 6% fee, minimum or maximum like a year, minimum 10 uses." And that's just for the license from the licenser. Now you need to go to the producer and get the same thing. So it was like $500, probably $600 per use per 5 seconds for an intro to a podcast for a nonprofit that runs college fly fishing and conservation clubs.
That is insane,
Yeah,
dude.
it was
Yeah,
thousands of dollars.
I only got 50 of them, so I'm just giving them to my podcast people. I'm not
Love it.
selling them for like I'll put one on the back of my truck or like on some of my fly boxes, but it's like if
Yeah.
it's only 50 and there's only like a certain amount of people with them, I'm like I think I'm all right.
I think so too. No, definitely. I mean, they're
Yeah.
selling them outside of shows and stuff. They're going to go after those folks, not
Oh yeah,
not the
not a.
podcasters. But
Hopefully
when
not.
when I told them I had zero budget, I think they didn't understand that I meant I know I literally have $0 as a budget for this music.
That is crazy. $250 a use.
And that was only from the licensing people. Then they said I have to go clear permission with the publisher, and I was like, well,
Who?
who's the publisher? Like, I was
Yeah.
in touch with Rhino Music, like Rhino Productions, and it was a horrible experience, which
Oh, I
ended up
bet.
being, a lot of money. So I said, no thanks.
That's nuts, dude. Oh my god,
Crazy.
that's
So
crazy, dude.
don't even email somebody. It'll be a waste of time unless you got the cash.
Yeah, that's why I don't even use like a opening song or anything. Like as cool as it would be, I'm not gonna go and email like a chain of like 6 or 7 people.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah, we've
pay
got a
money.
nice little backstory with our intro music at Emerging. It was Joseph Burney's like college buddies played in a band, I think. It was his friends, I'm not sure from where, but they played in a little band, and Joseph liked the song and shook his hand and asked if he could use it for the podcast. And it's not in paper. I don't think Joseph said he hasn't talked to the guys that played the song in a long time, but the intro music is still logged onto the Roadcaster. So we've got it. And if it ever leaves the Roadcaster, I'm not sure if we get it back. So I don't really know.
Oh man, that's funny though. That's
Yeah,
a cool way to do it.
it
Um,
is.
that's a cool way to do. I wish I could just walk up to somebody and be like, "Hey, can you play me some like intro music?"
Yeah. I mean, so
Go up to
that
Alabama.
was my plan with Colby Acuff is I was gonna hopefully get to a show in person, hang out, do the podcast, and then I would be like, "Here you go, man! Like, give me some intro music." But we'll see if that'll come. I'll ask him on Friday if we can get
Do
some
it,
custom
dude.
intro music.
So I'm pretty sure you listen to Bussin' with the Boys with like Taylor Lewan and
I
Will
see the
Compton.
clips on Instagram. I don't think I've listened to a full episode.
So I'm pretty sure they had Ernest do their
Mm,
intro music.
I like that.
Morgan Wallen's buddy
Yeah, that's
had
sick.
an episode. I was like, that's kind of sick. I wish I could just do that with somebody like that. But
Seriously.
tell me your craziest or coolest fishing story.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Craziest or coolest fishing story. I'm I think I'm a down to earth fisherman is what I'll say. I haven't really traveled much for fishing, although I've got some cool things lined up. I'll tell you one of my craziest fishing stories happened yesterday or 2 days ago. And I was in the high country, Colorado. I'll never tell you where, never tell anybody where I
I don't
was.
either.
And there was a reservoir near me, and there were plenty of people fishing the reservoir. 4th of July weekend, somebody told me that there was 50, maybe more people fishing this reservoir. And I go up the creek, the inlet creek. I'll hint to anybody fishing high country Colorado in the summer, go up the inlet creek always. And I go into the woods, into some trees. About 100 yards later, I pop open into this valley, probably mile long valley, just lush grass, pine trees on one side, mountain cirque on the other side, snow-capped peaks all over the place. And I'm not exaggerating here, probably a million cutthroat in the creek. And it was just non-stop dry fly action fishing for 10 to 16, if I'm telling a story, probably 18-inch cutthroats, just
Oh my god.
munching dry flies in this high country stream. And what's crazy to me about it is I was the only person in the valley.
Oh my god.
The only person. I am looking at, probably a mile of stream before it gets too small because, I mean, it'll just reach the snow where it's coming from. Probably at a mile of stream, there was a picture perfect bald eagle flying in the sky above my head. snow-capped peaks, and then I turn around and there's a mama and a baby moose maybe 10 yards from me in the
Oh
creek
my gosh.
drinking the water. And what was crazy to me is that I was like, no one is here, all by myself. I'd fished that spot a couple times before with friends, but it was on Sunday. No, it was on Monday. Monday morning, I was just by myself, and it was surreal, just surreal.
Oh, I bet. Bald eagle, everything, dude. That'll make
I
you
mean,
want
it
to
was
crack a
bald
beer.
eagle, couple moose, and cutthroat. Like I don't know how much better than that it gets.
Dude, yeah, can't write that up better.
No, you
Holy
can't.
crap. But what's the coolest destination trip you've been on so far?
So, coolest destination trip I've been on is probably going to college. I think
Yeah,
that's I think like
it doesn't get
before
much better than
it doesn't get
Colorado.
I'm on the best vacation of my life right now, and it's been a long time, and I guess I've been paying rent for a long time, so I guess not much of a vacation, but it feels like a vacation out here in
Yeah.
Colorado, especially over the summer. Even if I'm working most of the days and I'm online working, it is just, there's literally no place I'd rather be in the months of the summer than the high country of Colorado.
Oh, I bet.
So, I mean, that's my destination, I guess. When people tell me, my girlfriend's always like, "You don't want to go to Mexico or the beach somewhere warm." I'm like, "No, like I want to go to blank creek. It's two hours that way. Like that's it. I promise. There is no place I'd rather be."
Yeah,
Um,
dude.
but destination travel trip that I'm very excited for is I'm going to be going to New Orleans this
That'll be fun.
November for redfish.
Oh,
Um,
dude. Who you
and
going
then
with?
I picked up a little job, a little part-time job with Travel Creel Hospitality,
Oh,
and they're a traveling fly fishing lodge, and I run their social media presence. And so they're going to be bringing me on a couple of trips to take some pictures, kind of hang out. I told them I'd lug bags or any handy work like that that they may need. So
yeah.
I'm going to be going as a work trip, but they're going to let me fish around a little bit, which is pretty sick.
Dude,
So
New Orleans is awesome.
I've never been, and I am so excited.
Dude, my little brother went to Tulane for 4 years.
Mm,
And I used to visit once or twice a year, dude. You'll love it. Dude,
I
like
bet.
the food, like Bourbon Street. Bourbon Street does get a little bit overwhelming at times, but
I
dude,
can
just like you
imagine.
got to check out Superior Seafood when you're there.
Okay. I'll note it all. It's been a city that's always kind of interested me, and just when Travel Creel said, "Yeah, we'll take you to New Orleans," yep, like
Gotta
whatever.
go.
So with that, I'm excited about. If I'm very very lucky, I'll be going down to Baja, Mexico, also with Travel Creel, for some marlin tagging.
That'll
There's a
be
big
sick.
marlin tagging event with Los Locos, and Travel Creel is donating some dinner service and food service for the trip because it's all conservation stuff. So Travel Creel's going down there. I might be going down for Thanksgiving for marlin. That's
That'll be
that's
sick.
that's a maybe. But Travel Creel did tell me for sure, if I just don't get fired, I'll be going down back to Baja next May for their Rooster Fish Week, which I'm very excited for.
That'll be sweet, dude.
Yeah. So those are my destination travel trips. I'm looking forward to. The only other states I've fished in really are Maine, Mass, Colorado, Wyoming.
I was gonna say, dude, you don't want to go back to Massachusetts and freeze your ass off on Thanksgiving.
I mean, I would. I'm gonna go fish
Yeah,
for some. I fished with Joe Gugino for stripers a couple weeks ago. I'm going back up to fish with Ben Wally with Travel Creel in August. So I'm excited to get my striper fix, but
yeah,
I'm more excited to go on the Ambassador Summit, the Five Rivers Ambassador Summit on the Wind River Reservation in
that'll
August.
be sick.
That
Dude, like,
is, there's details that I could go on for hours, but getting on the Wind River Reservation, doing the work that we do up there, and then the afternoons that they let us sneak off and fish are just ridiculous.
Oh, I
Like,
bet.
think the little brookie creek that has dumb brook trout that'll eat anything, except for it's like a couple hundred CFS, and they're not brookies. They're 2 foot long rainbows and browns.
Yeah,
It's
that's
it,
insane.
it's ridiculous, man. I went out on one of the rivers on the reservation and took a couple casts and didn't catch anything, probably for my first 45 minutes to an hour. And I was like, this was supposed to be pretty good. Like, I wonder what happened. And then I changed flies and probably caught 200 inches of fish in the next 2 hours. It was just absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my god.
So the Wind River Reservation, if you ever have a chance to fish it, I've never been up into the high country there, but any water that you're allowed to fish on that reservation is pretty ridiculous.
Damn. So, what's the coolest opportunity that's come your way as a result of hosting the podcast? I think we've gone over a lot of them.
Yeah, we definitely have. So I'm going to tell the story of how I got the podcast, if that's all right.
Okay. Yeah, go
So
for it, man.
so the Ambassador Summit, which I was just touching on the Wind River Range, is for club presidents and club leaders from all across the country. I went up on this trip on the Wind River Reservation with a bunch of people and was talking to my boss, my now boss, Cliff, and was like, dude, this is just the best week of my life. Thanking him for the trip, the planning, this and that. And that stands true. That week was one of the best weeks of my life. I then asked Cliff, what's up with that podcast? Well, like, no one's been doing it in a while. And he said, you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. It sounds fun. And he said, it's yours. Go for it. And so it was a spur of the moment, shook his hand, and he's like, it's yours. And so after that week, we started planning and talking about me taking over the podcast, this and that. And now that I'm the host of the podcast, I get to go back on that same trip where I secured the role of the podcast.
Yeah.
And so the best opportunity that will ever come from this is just being able to go back on that trip.
Oh, yeah.
Aside from that trip, I was able to go drive up to Bozeman and record an episode with Ranga Pereira from Flavor on the Fly, is what he's most known for in the fishing world, which was an awesome trip just to drive up to Bozeman, hang out with him for a little bit. I had a great day fishing with the Orge family, most known as Fly High Eli.
Yeah.
Little kids on the drift boat, Isla and Axel, the dad Eli. I got to drive up to their house at an unknown location in a state north of me, and we had a kick-ass day fishing. Isla totally smoked me with the streamers. She was crushing fish, and I was just talking to her like she was my roommate. I was like, Isla, like, what depth are you at? Like, what color streamer are you using right now? And it was just such a cool moment of people that I'd been seeing online for like a couple years, and now I'm fishing next to them, and they were
Yeah.
so nice to me, welcomed me in their home, and Isla helped me get on, a fish, of course, and then we posed for a nice picture with it, and that was a really, really fun trip that's come from the podcast so
Oh,
far.
I bet. Dude, you got any big plans for the next school year with the podcast or TU Costa?
Yeah,
Five River
so
Tournament?
we'll have another rendezvous, which would be sweet in the Rockies, going back on the Ambassador Summit. I'm brewing up some ideas with the CSU club. I've passed down my presidency of the CSU Fly Fishing Club after 2 years. I've passed it on to my good friend Danny Gilbert. So she's the real decision maker with the club. But one thing that we do with the CSU club every year is Party on the Pooter. Party on the Pooter is our first trip of the year. It's on the river closest to our school, and we get as many kids out fishing as we can. Last year, we set the sign up to 55 people, and it filled up with a 10-person wait list in 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
So what we did, and it's kind of genius by me, I'm just going to throw that out there. We had a meeting at my house, little cookout. I made food for everybody. My roommate and I cooked food for everybody. Everybody's here. It's the first meeting of the year. Everybody's excited. And then we say, like, hey, everybody, like, trip sign up is live, and we had 65 people on the list in a matter of minutes,
Oh my
seconds,
god.
really. And so that trip, the party on the Pooter, is always so fun to prepare for, think about, because we get 50 plus kids out on the river. Half of them probably had never fly fished really more than twice. So all the officers are running around with boxes of flies that we tie up for them, bunch of rental rods, a couple of them break every year. And that's just such a good time. That's usually like
Oh yeah.
the last week of August, first week of September. So that's the big one I'm excited for with the club. And then with the podcast, I don't know. It'll be season 6 once we get back into school. Season 5 is like my little summer season here. I'm just trying to brew up some really cool guests, I think is what I'm going to do.
I got
We'll
you.
see if the Colby Acuff episode carries over into season 6. I'm not sure where I'll be at editing wise. I've got a couple connections that I'm going to try and pursue. And honestly, I'm sending a lot of blind emails to a lot of random people that just happen to like fly fishing.
That's
Like,
all I do.
dude, I hit up Emma Watson. They never got back to me, but she's a huge fly angler. She ties flies. Like, that would be sick episode. I reached out to the Trump administration because why not see
Yeah.
see if Trump will come on the podcast, or maybe Trump Jr. He's more of a outdoorsman, so that might be a possibility. But I'm just trying to get a nice guest list of
Yeah.
genuine people from those famous people that'd be cool names to people I grew up with. I've been doing these short episodes every other week with, I would say, a little bit more obtainable guests. I guess you could say, people I just run into. I had a great time at the fly fishing show. I went and interviewed a bunch of people at the fly fishing show in February, and I'm still releasing the podcast episodes from that. So
Hell yeah.
I think just, with the podcast, just doing more what's up, trying to get more downloads, more listeners.
Yeah.
You know the grind there.
Dude, yeah, it's a
Uh,
grind, man.
but that's not our main objective at
Yeah,
emerging. We've got
exactly, dude.
a whole nother backing behind us that is the main goal. I'm just a little snippet of it.
Yeah, dude. That's cool though, dude. Shoot, sending out, dude. That's all I do is send out just like random emails, dude.
Yeah,
Some of them get, dude. It's crazy how many you think like how many people actually respond.
for sure. Yeah, I
I'm
totally
like,
agree.
oh my gosh, dude. Like Monty Burke, who wrote Lords on the Fly
Mm,
or Lords of the Fly,
yeah,
got back to me in 2 minutes. It's the quickest
that's
I've ever had somebody respond
that's
to an
crazy.
email. I was like, no way. He was on my podcast 2 days later.
Yeah, that's so sick.
I was like, oh my god, that's a New
Yeah,
York Times best-selling author.
I've had similar experiences of, oh my god, that was easy.
Yeah,
Like with Fly High Eli, I had I had a connection to them in my back pocket that I knew about, but I sent a DM and was on the phone with Eli, the next day.
yeah,
Trip planned up there 2 days later. It's just like kind of having this platform is so cool and interesting and fun.
yeah,
People
dude.
just people just want to come on and chat, which is nice.
Yeah, dude. That's like I started this podcast like originally like I'd try to talk to my girlfriend or like I don't want to just sit there and talk on the phone for like 4 hours with my buddy, you know.
Hmm.
And I was like, my girlfriend's like, I don't know a damn thing about fly fishing. Like, I don't like half the stuff. I was like, you know what? I'm starting a podcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
And I started it. I was like, it's gonna like fold after like 10 episodes, and now here we are, 50
Yeah, there you
plus.
go. That's pretty
But
good, dude.
yeah, but
I'm at I think I'm at episode like 20 or something that I've released. I've recorded probably around 35, but it's a
dude,
grind, but it's
it
fun.
adds up. It
It
adds
really
up,
does.
man.
And it's
It's
funny
like
too, like
there are times where I'm like, dude, I need more. I need more days of the week to record.
I know it's tough, especially like I've put my boss and I, Cliff, we've tried to stay consistent, which I
Yeah,
don't know if it works or not. I've been told it does work for like uploads or whatever, but staying consistent is so tough.
yeah. Do like staying like I do my Tuesdays and Fridays. I feel
Hmm.
like staying consistent and do like when I have to do like a solo episode, that's tough too.
Oh, I bet.
I'm like, dude, like I don't know what people want to hear. Like, I'm
Hit me
like,
up whenever. I'll come back on and chat. I'm
hell
always
yeah,
down.
dude. That's good to hear. And this is how I end all my podcast episodes. Goes back to music. So your 5 songs for the Trout Tunes playlist. What
Five
do you
songs
got?
for the Trout Tunes playlist. First off, it's got to be the Eyes of the World that I said.
Yep.
So 90 Eyes of the World with Branford Marsalis on the sax.
Let's see.
Ah, man. I'll put on Shady Grove by Taj Mahal.
Shady Grove.
I'm going to look through my Spotify here too for just to make sure I don't miss any.
By Taj Mahal.
Taj Mahal. I'm a
Got
huge
it.
Taj Mahal fan.
Hell yeah. Saw Jerry Garcia band did a version of it too.
Yep. So actually, I was going over to Jerry next. You ever heard of the Pizza Tapes?
Yep.
So Pizza Tapes. I really, really, really like the the House of the Rising Sun on the Pizza Tapes. I like. That's 3.
Love the Pizza Tapes.
Yeah, man. I love Jerry Garcia as a bluegrass artist. Just
I do too. Dude,
like
it's awesome.
so good. I'm a huge Dylan fan.
Same here.
So, I mean, what's the vibe of this playlist so far? Because I'll
Dude,
choose a Dylan.
it's got so much on it. I'll show. I'd do 5 as well. I think I may have. I think I got 5 today. I
We'll
see. Wait, I
go.
do 5.
We'll go. I don't want to throw in a crazy song on there.
Nah, dude, feel free. There's Sabrina Carpenter on this playlist.
Oh no, give me Hurricane by Dylan.
Oh, dude, that's an awesome song. Honestly, dude, I think I might have already put that one on there.
Oh, good. Then I can
Yeah.
save. I
No,
can
I
save
didn't.
the
I
song.
do love that song though.
All right, and then that's 4. Here's a good one. Jump for Joy by Bobby Weir.
Oh yeah. Jump for joy. Dude, have you had any interest in going to see Dead and Company?
I've seen Dead and Company that many times,
Oh shit.
plus a
I saw
couple.
him once.
Yeah, dude. I caught a unbelievable 3-show run with them. I think it must have been, it was 2 summers ago now at Folsom Field in Boulder, where it was Sunday night, man. They were coming to the end. They played, I gotta pull it up. They played Not Fade Away into an encore, long break. And then they brought out Dave Matthews.
What the fuck?
Yeah, let me find the show real quick.
I like Dave Matthews Band too.
Dude,
I
Dave
like all
Matthews
those
is
jammy
awesome.
sound stuff.
So the end of this Dead and Company show, yeah, they go all along the Watchtower, Not Fade Away, Knocking on Heaven's Door, Into the Wait, all with Dave Matthews.
Oh my god.
I mean, the song before that, before Dave Matthews came out, was Standing on the Moon. Standing on the Moon to Watchtower to Fade Away, Encore, Heaven's Door, The Wait, with a drone show going over the stadium. It was unbelievable.
Jesus. Yo, you gonna have
If
Deion
you
Sanders
can,
on the podcast?
no, go Rams. I'm not going to mention anything about that school except for the awesome concert I saw at their field. I did reach out to Travis Hunter though. I didn't get through to him.
Damn. Ashton Jenny should have won that Heisman.
I'll root
But,
for it. I'll root Mountain West over whatever the heck Buffs they're in.
oh yeah, but that's all I got for you, man.
Awesome, dude. Well, it's been a
Thank you so
pleasure.
much for coming on, bro.
Thanks for
But
having me. And if you ever need an episode to fill, hit me up. I'll chat about whatever. I've got some hot takes if you want to hear them. We can
hell
do
yeah.
that.
For sure, dude. Any last plugs that you wanna throw in for you people?
I'll throw in a plug to any person in undergrad, high school, graduate, doctorate school. If you are affiliated or going to be affiliated with any sort of school, start or join a Five Rivers club. We've got high school clubs, middle school clubs. The college clubs are where I'm at. It is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I couldn't recommend it enough. College clubs can seem, a little nerdy or a little weird to be part of a club. I get that. There's other clubs I haven't joined, but even if you don't go to the events that your college club does, join a college club. And you know what? If you're not going to school or of age, like a college age kid, like I've got adults that reach out to our club all the time. Hit up your local school. If you offered your Five Rivers Club chapter, like, hey guys, I'll give you $50 for pizzas for your next trip, it would make the kids years. So
Oh yeah.
go find your alma mater's Five Rivers Club and buy them some beers or some pizzas or something. That'd
Hell
be
yeah.
unbelievable. So that's my plug right there.
Sounds good, bro. That was Joe Tardif with TU Costa Emerging podcast and the TU Five Rivers program. And dude, what he said about joining your local TU program, do it. I know a lot of kids at UGA, West Virginia, and they love it. So that's all I got today. Once again, riversmith.com, Wrangler 10, and go and get some of the stuff. Thank you to Joe. And like I said, Wrangler 10 on riversmith.com. Ricky, you got anything for until Friday? Wrangle some trout, go catch some fish. We'll be back here on Friday.